Hello. I am so happy that you're here. So I'm sharing an amazing conversation with you in this episode that I had with the incredible Jadah Sellner. I just love her to bits. She's so amazing. So she is the host of the Lead with Love podcast show. She has created a program called Love Over Metrics, and she essentially teaches how people can build really engaged communities of people who love what they're about and who want to buy from them. And she shares some really powerful tips for how you can do that in this episode. I was literally like, right, I'm going to do that. It's so good. I can't wait for you to listen to it. She actually created a masterclass for us over in the members club called Love Over Metrics. It is amazing. I quote her from it all the time because it was so good, and some of the stuff she shared in that has just really stuck with me as I've built my community and my business. So if you are in the membership, definitely go and check out that masterclass. If you're not, then come and check it all out because it's bloody brilliant. But yeah, she also has an amazing freebie for you to download and check out, so definitely pick that up. But yeah, this is a conversation around how you can build an incredible community. We talk about her journey from parenting blog to green smoothies to $86,000 in 10-day launch. So much good stuff. And I just really hope you enjoy this, because for all of us, one of the things we have to get really, really good at is community building. When you have an engaged community of people who love what you're about, who love what your message is, and you know what you stand for and your voice, you can create so much success. It is phenomenal, mind-blowing, incredible. And I just think listening to this, you're going to be so inspired and fired up, and you're going to realize, oh my gosh, so much is possible for me. And she's going to teach you some amazing strategies for building that engaged community. So I hope you enjoy this episode. You are watching the She Means Business show with me, Carrie Green. I'm the founder of the Female Entrepreneur Association and the author of the best-selling book, She Means Business. And every single week, I'm going to be talking with you about how you can turn your ideas into a wildly successful business and actually live the life of your dreams. You can do this, and I'm so excited to show you how. So let's get started. Well, I am very excited to have you here, Jadah, and I'm so excited to talk to you about all things community building, engagement building, and I like your whole concept of like leading with love and love over metrics. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this chat.
Thank you. I'm so excited to I always feel like when we have these conversations, it just feels like cozy conversations. It's always late night over there for you and afternoon for me in California.
I know. Well, I'm excited about this because obviously when you did the masterclass for us in the members club, Love Over Metrics, like it just, everyone absolutely loved it. And like, I know I was just saying this to you before we hit record about how I'm literally forever quoting you with your, with what you said. There's no such thing as a unique message, only unique messengers. And it just really stuck with me. One, it's just the simplicity of it. But two, it's so profound because I think that like as entrepreneurs, no matter what your business is, we all have a message to share. We all have to be able to communicate what we are about. And we have to realize that like who we are, our true selves, our voice, that's what makes us unique. Because so often I do hear people thinking like, well, this oversaturated, there's no, what, I don't know what's the point about me saying this, and almost feeling like their voice doesn't matter and they don't matter and what they have to say isn't good enough. But actually that's everything. So I just, it really stuck with me when you said that.
I think that piece is so important, and I think we have to hear it over and over again too, because so often we get excited about a business idea or a product, and then, you know, one of the things of being a smart business person is to do market research and see what's out there, what's working, what are the price points, and sometimes when we're doing that market analysis, we start to, instead of just looking at the competition to see how we can stand out and be unique, we start to compare and despair. And it's like, what's the point of me saying this anyways? It's already been said. Yeah. And the reason why I say there are no there are no unique messages, only unique messengers, is because we need to hear it from different people, that we resonate with different people. There's so many times we have a mutual friend, Nikki Elledge Brown, and she'll be talking about, someone that she's completely like loves and studies, goes to every workshop, forwards me their webinars. And when I listen, I'm like, I'm not interested. Like I just want to hear it from you. Can you just tell it to me in your Nikki voice with your Nikki isms and all of that? Because the way that she communicates it resonates with me. But if I hear it from, an older man who like is a genius and it's just like, I don't know. I can't relate or connect. It doesn't feel real or relatable. So, one of my own personal intermissions for all these years, I've been an entrepreneur for over 11 years, and I read so many business books that were written by white, educated men. Now, I don't have a college degree. I'm Black, Chinese, and white. And I didn't see myself in the books that I was reading about business. They helped me. They made me, helped me build multiple 6-figure, 7-figure in revenue for businesses. But I felt like I didn't see myself. And so it took me a long time to get over the hump that it was even possible for me. Also being a mom, I wasn't 18 months old. My daughter was 18 months old when I started my first business. So to see, these single men who have these college degrees and Ivy League, like I didn't know if it was actually really possible for me. So part of me being able to build this level of success and business, I want to be that proof of possibility for other people. So yes, there's tons of people talking about even how to grow a business and how to grow your community. But if someone could see it and hear it from me, and they don't have a college degree, or they're also a mom, or they're a woman of color, they're going to feel like, well, if she did it, I can do it too. It just removes that one extra barrier that stops us from sharing our voices and our messages in the world.
That is such a powerful message, and I couldn't agree more. And like, I do know what you mean about reading books from like basically old white men. And but growing up, I remember feeling really confused. Well, not confused, but like I thought I wanted to be an actress. And the only reason I thought that is because all the people I was seeing in the magazines that I was reading, and all the, obviously social media didn't exist back then. And I don't know, like, mobile phones were just the thing you used to ring people on. But the only people I saw in like on the TV and like when you go to the cinema, it was like movie stars, and I saw them as the kind of people who were living their best lives. They were achieving amazing success because it was the only concept of success that I really saw, and so I thought, oh, well, that's what I want to be, because I want to like live my best life and I want to see what's possible and achieve amazing things. I went to acting school. I cannot act to save my life. Like, I am so bad. It's shocking. And thankfully, I mean, the school it got burned out. It was so weird. It was such a weird experience.
Oh my goodness.
But like, when I finally got into like business, and especially with the Female Entrepreneur Association and that journey, when that journey evolved, I realized I didn't want to be an actress. I just wanted to be my best self. I'm like, not saying that actresses are, the stuff that you read is like the best stuff, but like, it was the only thing I was looking up to in a way. And I do agree, like, if you don't have something to look up to, a role model or someone that you can identify with and relate to, then it's like, I don't know, I suppose it's easier to identify you want to do something when you can see someone else doing something, and it just makes something click inside of you and you realize that could be me. And like, back to your point, like, that is why all of us, I think, need to find the courage somehow to speak up and to share what we're about, and to share our message, share our voice, and infuse that into our businesses. Because like, it doesn't matter what you do, does it? Like, every business has like that heart and soul, and it's up to us to really communicate that in a way.
And I think there's an opportunity to kind of flip the differentiators, like as you do that market research. That's something, with the company that I co-founded, Simple Green Smoothies, which is when I really started to build community, especially online. The things that I was researching, because there were already green smoothie recipe sites out there. And I remember just, kind of looking at them and like, oh, they're very scientific. They're very boring. They just kind of say like a handful of spinach, a pinch of this. And for me as a green smoothie beginner, that felt very overwhelming to me. And I was just like, wait, a handful, like whose hand? Like, how big is your hand? Because, I didn't want to taste the spinach or the kale or anything. So we were actually the first to introduce exact measurements into recipes and being able to use that as a way to actually stand out in the marketplace. Another thing that I saw was, every person was taking pictures of just like a tall glass of green sludge, and they were also stock photos. And so I was using my like iPhone 3, like the photos were still a little bit fuzzy on Instagram and 2012, but I was like, what if I took pictures of the raw ingredients, right? To see like the vibrant red strawberries and the bright green leafy spinach and take what's going inside the blender versus the after effect, which sometimes could be brown or green or whatever, not very appetizing. So really, actually, when you look at the differences of other people in your marketplace, flip your weaknesses as advantages. Because both my business partner, Jen Hansard, and I, neither of us had like health certificates or degrees or went to school for any of that. And we use that as a way, but we're both moms and we both have kids that we want them to eat more vegetables than just corn and potatoes, right? So we use that as we could stand out with our branding. Like we could actually invest more and look more professional. And I don't know, just feel like we could up level that part. We could use words like rock on and you're awesome and bring in some of that youthfulness, because a lot of people who were sharing green smoothie recipes were a lot older than us. So we use some of the things that usually I'm too young, I don't have, letters behind my name, like all the things that we use to stop ourselves from sharing our voice, our ideas, our message. We could actually use those as our advantage and actually double down on those things that we think our weaknesses, and actually those are the things that make us so unique and stand out.
Yeah. And I feel like it's going to really empower people that you shared the story. You just shared that and said that when you started Simple Green Smoothies, that you didn't really have that much experience with green smoothies, but you did it anyway and you went for it and it became a huge success. Because one thing that keeps coming up and I keep hearing people talking about is I feel like I need a qualification. I feel like, who am I to do this? Who am I to talk about this? And people with massive imposter syndrome because they keep doubting themselves. And I'm like, you are perfectly entitled to share something you're passionate about, or to talk about something you're learning about, or to take people on a journey with you if you are, like what you did with creating smoothies and experimenting and putting that together. You can share it. Don't be afraid to share. So I think it's inspiring. And I also remember when you were doing Simple Green Smoothies, and because I signed up for the challenge that you ran, and it was so infused with personality. I think that's what appealed so much. It was fun. It was so fun. And you really felt like you were part of something. And I think that, it just must be the magic that you bring to the table, especially now with, obviously, you teach how to create engaging communities, and you obviously 100% did that with Simple Green Smoothies. For anyone listening, will you just share a little bit of overview of the success of it, because it is so successful?
Yeah, definitely. So with Simple Green Smoothies, it wasn't even supposed to be its own business. We had a parenting blog. So for anyone who's ever started something and then started something else and then started something else, that's completely normal for the entrepreneurial journey, as you're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall. And my business partner she was like, you can do that green smoothie Instagram thing. I'm going to be over here working on our family blog. So it was just kind of this side thing. But what ended up happening is I went all in on Instagram. And, I always say to show your dance moves on the dance floor. So I allowed Instagram to be the dance floor of where I would share green smoothie recipes just 2 to 3 times a week, or health benefits of chia seeds, just being like the Google of green smoothies on Instagram. So thinking about, what's that dance floor that people want to show up on their own, I think can be very helpful. But yeah, and I want to share just a little bit of like how it got started, just so people aren't like, whoa, but basically we went from 0 followers on Instagram to 30,000 followers in just 6 months. And I really, really went all in on that. And then over 2 years, we grew to over 400,000 followers on Instagram, over 355,000 email subscribers, and over 300,000 Facebook fans. And we did this without paid advertising. And because we focused on building community first, which I know you're huge on that, of really like building the community first and loving up on your people, we were able to sell a product that was under $99, focusing on community first, where we generated over $1 million in sales in 2 years just with one digital product. And we did that because we hosted these free 30-day green smoothie challenges. And then we got really clear on what were the pain points, what were the struggles and the challenges once somebody completed the green smoothie challenge with us. And we were, we didn't get the product right the very first time, but as soon as we did, we just rinsed and repeated that same system over and over again. And we also have a traditionally published book by the same name, Simple Green Smoothies.
Oh my God.
Right. And I'm like, it's right here. And it has, I think we have over 800 5-star reviews now on Amazon. And it's so cool to be able to focus on loving up on people first and putting people first. And that's what I say is like love over metrics. I didn't have like grow our following to 100,000 or 200 or 500, anything. I never had number goals around people. I just wanted to help as many people as I could so that I could sustain my family. Like the biggest number goal I had was to make $15,000 a month for me and $15,000 a month for my business partner. And I actually put that on my very first vision board, and just like, crossing my fingers and seeing what would happen from that. And we definitely did hit that number, and exceeded it. But I think for us, really being able to start, we all start at 0. Like, I know that's a really big number. Those are big numbers for me to share, but we all start at 0 followers, 0 email subscribers, $0 in the bank account. For me, it was negative dollars in the bank account. So I just want anyone that's listening to know that don't judge yourself. Like, don't compare yourself to where people are right now. And you can build a 7-figure business without hundreds of thousands of followers even, so to not get so caught up in that. Even if you have 100 people on your email list right now, like imagine if there were 100 people in your living room. You would be stoked to be able to share your message and your thoughts and your ideas and be able to help and transform those people's lives.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think as well, when you've got like a smaller audience, you can be so intimate with those people. Like, you can literally personally reach out to every single one of those people and have a conversation and get to know them more. And it's really powerful what you can do with even just 10 people, actually. Even just one person, in fact, one actual true fan. You can learn a lot from that person, and it's so helpful. So I know you obviously just made the point, like, everyone starts from 0, and we do. I remember being there myself and not really fully knowing what the hell I was doing. But I just had this big dream and this big vision. I just wanted to like figure out how I could just create a platform that could inspire and empower women. And that was it. That was all I was figuring out. And like, how do you get someone to rally around an idea that you have or something that you stand for? But for people listening who are like, okay, that's me, that's where I'm at. I don't have any followers or hardly any followers or hardly any audience, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I don't know, just tell me, which I feel like so often what I hear people saying, and I get it completely because I have been there myself. What would you say to them in terms of like starting on this journey towards building an engaged community of people that absolutely love what they're about, what their business is about?
Yeah, so I think going back to the showing your dance moves on the dance floor, getting really clear on, the medium that you best express your voice and your ideas and your message, that piece. So there's two parts. That, like, is it easier for you to write, like write really quickly? So maybe posting, articles on Medium or on LinkedIn or blog post and really leveraging SEO, or using your voice, like as a podcast or video. I'm sure for us, like it's easier for us to just like speak,
Yeah.
right? That we get our thoughts and ideas out really quickly. Or are you more visual and have, an eye for design and colors, right? So that's where like Instagram and Pinterest, or maybe, you have like this almost like directorial, like I think about like, TikTok is really hot right now, right? So maybe you have like musical elements or some humor, right? But
Yeah.
so thinking about where it's easiest and most fun and expansive for you to use your voice and share your thoughts and ideas. So that's one thing that you have to get really clear on, because so often people think, oh, the next raving thing is Instagram, so I need to be on Instagram. Maybe, but if you hate it and you don't like, being able to make a feed look beautiful and communicate in that platform, that might not be the actual dance floor for you, because these are community building platforms. It's social media. Like, so if you're at a party and you're bored and because they're playing country music and you're like, ugh, like people are going to be like, I don't want to talk to that person who's not like, you're like in the wrong room. So find another dance floor to be on. Another thing is thinking about the product that you have to offer or sell. Where are those people spending the most time? So you really want to make a list of all the possible places of your strengths and how you express and communicate, making a list of what possible platforms that would be for you. And then based on your product that you want to sell, where are your people also hanging out, and trying to find the sweet spot between those two places, I think is really, really important. Then the next thing is, so to choose, you got to choose. And I would say choose one, and maybe you have a secondary that you kind of can schedule an auto post on. For us, we led with Instagram, and then we were able to just use the same images and the same content, maybe make some tweaks and adjustments on Facebook, but we weren't all over the place. We weren't blending recipe videos on YouTube. We didn't have a podcast. Like we really went all in on one dance floor, one platform, and that was Instagram for us. So really thinking about what that is for you. And then it's a persistence game, right? Like, I think this is the piece that people miss so often, right? So we have the passion of like which platform you're actually standing out on, but then commit. Like, you need to commit to a minimum amount of time to really test your messaging and seeing if it actually starts to resonate with people. So I remember when we started Simple Green Smoothies, we were kind of all over the place. You wouldn't know that, but we were like, how to wash your hands during the flu season and boost your immunity. So we were kind of taking this health bent. And then we really went all in on green smoothies. And I said, we're going to talk about nothing but green smoothies for the next 9 months. Like, I made that declaration to my business partner, and I was like, that is it, nothing else, like no extra. So really lasering in on what you want to be talking about, what's that problem that you're solving, and going all the way in, going super deep, and then commit long term, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, before you pivot and try to change your whole business direction. You actually have to give stuff time to allow people to start to build that trust with you, and like, oh, she posts green smoothie recipes. Oh, okay, I'll follow her. So I think that persistence is really important. And then also listening and getting feedback and starting to see what's working, what's not working, and being okay. Like, not every post or everything that we share has to be a hit, right? Like a single. Like, we can have a full album of work and not every song is someone's favorite song. So also being okay doesn't mean that something's not working because one thing does really well and then the next thing doesn't do as well. It just allows you to pay attention to, oh, this is what resonates more, so let me do more of that. I think that's a really big place to just start. And then something else that I say is to do no comment left behind, which is really being able to engage with your audience wherever you are. If it's email, replying to every email. If it's Instagram, replying to every comment that comes in. podcast reviews. You could even, people who are reviewing podcasts, give them a shout out on your podcast interview, like, hey, thank you, Stacey, so much for sharing and giving us a 5-star review, right? So it's being able to allow people to feel what I call the ABCs of love, feeling a sense of acknowledgement, belonging, and connection.
Yeah.
And no comment left behind is a great way to really love up on your community. Even if it's just one person that's always commenting. And I want you to know, it was like my mom was the only person commenting in the beginning, but we really do. We all start from zero, and we have to kind of work our way up from there.
Yeah. I remember you sharing that in the masterclass about have to reply to every comment, and you can't just, I'm sure you said as well, you can't just reply with like a little emoji or something. And sometimes like when I post that on Instagram, I'm like, Jadah says I have to reply to every comment, so I'm like, I sometimes feel like guilt around not replying. Sometimes, you know, like when you just like so busy, but then I'm like, this is stupid, this is a two-way street. Like if what's the point in posting out if I'm not going to actually engage with the people who are replying to this? And I just think that you're so right. Like, I think we do have to go above and beyond to love on our community and our audience, and to show them we're actually listening and we really actually care. Like, it's not just we're in it for ourselves. We're in it because we want to make a difference. We're building a business because we believe in something, and we believe that it's going to do something good in the world, whatever that is, on whatever level. So I think it's such a simple tip, but really powerful.
And something that you shared about that, of you commenting, right? Because there's a moment in business where we start to scale and we have team. Because one of the fears that we have also is fear of success, which is wild, right? But like, there's a part of you where it's like, well, I don't want to grow my community because then I'm going to have to be responding. Jadah said, no comment left behind. I'm already like fully strapped, don't have enough time and energy. I have kids at home, all of these things. And so as you scale your company, just knowing that you can build community ambassadors within your infrastructure, so it doesn't have to be Carrie that's responding to every comment, right? You can hire, what we call them, community happiness specialists, who would just work 5 to 10 hours a week loving up on our community. Because once you build that culture of love and making people feel acknowledged, belonging, connection, you can train a team to love up on your community, and it's still the same. I know it can feel, it's such a struggle to kind of separate yourself from the business, from the brand, but that's the way that we scale sustainably, is being able to build a team of people who will love up on those people. And one thing that we did as a surprise and delight is every community happiness specialist on our team, we would give them a $25 budget per month, where they could basically find someone in the community to love up on them. Like, oh my goodness, I saw that you posted that green smoothie recipe of your toddler drinking the green smoothies. We just wanted to send you this Target gift card or this Amazon gift card, right? And we gave them the choice to choose who that person was. So then they feel really generous within their position on our team, but also now we're still loving up on our community, but it's not me doing it, right? It's my team that's doing it. And that's just really thinking of ways of how we can surprise and delight our community. And what's powerful when we go above and beyond, when we go beyond that extra mile, is we start to learn more about our community. When we do those generous outreach, people will respond and be like, my kid only drinks this green smoothie. They're only able to drink this green smoothie because they just went through leukemia treatment, right? There's this, we get to know like the humans and the depth, not just being a customer or a follower or a subscriber. We actually get to connect to the humanity of the people that we're serving when we lead with love inside our businesses.
Yeah, that is so powerful. I am definitely going to start doing that. So I think my community are going to thank you, because they'll get gifts coming their way. Like we do that. Like, for example, if somebody messages in or says something and they've been through something really hard, I will, not always, but if I hear about it, I will send flowers, or we'll do something to just really show that, just to actually show that we care. Because I think it's so important. But I like how you're so intentional about it. I'm just going to tell the customer support team, let's start doing this. Like, I'm just happy. But I just agree. Like, it's the little things that you can do that just go really, really long way. And I always even find simple things like, even the way you show up in your responses and replies, and for me, especially with having a team now, the way we communicate and the way we, like, I actually share some of the words I would use, like lovely and wonderful and amazing and woohoo. Like, literally, we have this like team like success playbook type thing, and it's got those words in there because I feel like words have feeling in them, and we want to create that feeling that we care and we're friendly and we really mean what we say, and it's not false. And so, but what I love about that is that as a company, when you get intentional about it, then the people who work with you also start to passionately believe in it too and show up in that way. And they are then, it matters to them. And obviously you need the right people on the team to like really get that message. But when you've got that, it's, I don't know, it's powerful. It doesn't have to be huge things. It's simple stuff.
Yes.
It makes such a difference. You just shared so many amazing things. Actually, when you were talking, what did you say? You said something before, and I was going to ask you more about it, and now I can't remember what it was because we've talked about so many other things. Was it?
We're talking about show your dance moves on the dance floor, and then
talk about that. Which I totally agree with all that. Like, I would never, I wouldn't be where I am at today with FEA if it wasn't for just going all in on Facebook at the time, and really figuring out how I could create success with that. And I think as well, like you're saying, like show up consistently. You learn so much because then you don't have all the ideas from the get-go. You might have like an idea like, let's figure this out. Let's just go all in on green smoothies and see where we can go. But I don't know at that point whether you had started the challenges or if that arose in that 9-month period where you were like, I'm just going to go all in with this. But when we decide to go all in and commit to one thing and that get super focused, I find that's when, like Nikki Ellis Brown always says, it's about like the divine breadcrumbs like coming together, and the ideas pop up, and that's when I'm like, oh, I could do this, or oh, I might do that, and you start tinkering and trying and seeing what's working and what's not. But I think sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to actually just keep it simple, go super focused, and go all in. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I think we overcomplicate and feel like we need to be doing all the things on all the platforms, which is stressful and overwhelming.
Yeah. And, with the challenges, that wasn't an idea at the time of committing and going all in, but I'm happy to also talk about challenges too, if that would be helpful, because that was like our number one list building strategy. We started with the kind of the PDF opt-in, right? The free like 11-page PDF. And I remember, having 30,000 followers on Instagram, and we launched our website actually after we started the Instagram account because we didn't think it was a thing. Like, it was kind of just a side project. And so when we launched our website, probably August, September, October, like 4 months later, after we were like, I think people are not just following us for like parenting tips and advice, and so we should start an actual website. So we started simplegreensmoothies.com. And with that, we launched this 11-page PDF of like 5 recipes, and we grew our email list from 0 to 2,000 email subscribers. And we're like, that's like, it was cool, but it was like, wait, but we have 30,000 followers over here. And so what we ended up doing was launching a free 30-day green smoothie challenge. And originally we wanted to partner with another health influencer who was kind of more focused on juicing, but they had a really good following on Facebook. So I was like, oh, we could cross-pollinate and cross-promote type of thing. And we were like, it could be on your system. We'll just do all the design, all of these things. These people never responded to us. So we experienced rejection, and we're like, okay, well, we have this idea. Let's just run with it on our own. So just trusting knowing that we had a community enough to get that initiative off the ground. And it was the best, like, no silent rejection that we ever got, because if we hadn't done that, it would have been on their platform. So January 2013, we launched our very first 30-day green smoothie challenge, and that grew our email list from 2,000 to 30,000 email subscribers. And then as we continued to do the challenge, it would also grow our Instagram following. And, when we first launched, I thought that it was a fluke, like, oh, it's because it's new year, new you, and we decided to do another 30-day green smoothie challenge in April, just a few months later. And we doubled our email list again to 60,000 email subscribers. And so by the end of the year, within 12 months, we went from 2,000 email subscribers to 200,000.
Wow.
Just showing up on our dance floor, Instagram, and our second party with Facebook, and doing 30-day green smoothie challenges. That was all we did. So I know you were talking about like just keeping it simple, but also committing. That's what we did, was we went all in. We're like, oh, that worked. Let's keep doing it over and over again. So I'm a huge advocate of, especially now while everyone is like at home and spending more time, like people are wanting ways of motivating themselves because we don't have those same external things that we've had in the past. And so I feel like there's actually even a resurgence of hosting challenges to get people to take action on things that they say matter to them to get the results that they want. So that was like the hugest thing. And we just rinsed and repeated that every single quarter. And so every single quarter we'd have predictable income of doing 6-figure launches, one after the other, because we kept it simple and we systemized it too, of like post on Instagram, host a 30-day green smoothie challenge, and then sell our paid product. And we would just rinse and repeat that over and over again.
Your paid product, it wasn't like, it was quite low cost. What was it? It was it was
$47 when we first, and we had changed the prices anywhere between $47 to $99 over probably a couple year span, which like permission to change your prices to test and see what feels right for your community. But it was a 21-day cleanse, a plant-based cleanse that would lead in. And I remember we did our first launch and I was in Cabo San Lucas in Mexico with my family and some friends. It was like our first real vacation, and we did $86,000 in 10 days. And I was like, everybody gets tequila shots, margaritas. What do you want? Like, it just like really changed my family's life to be able to do a launch like that, not knowing how it was going to work or if people were going to want it. But we really paid attention to our community. We surveyed our audience, and our first testimonials were friends. Like the people that tested our product when it wasn't even a PDF or any beautiful photos were like, here's a Google Doc. If you actually do this cleanse and give us a testimonial, we'll give you the finished version later. And so I think it's really important to not only keep things simple, but also start small. Like so often we think we need to it needs to be so big. And it's like, just start with who you know. We didn't want to ask our customer. We're like, oh, my mom, my cousins, like those were the first like photos on our sales page, like, so if you have something new that you're creating, like use the even tighter knit community that you have, that and help them as well.
Yeah, that is just so inspiring and so interesting to hear. And I bet, when you made that first, what was it, 86,000, you must have been like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. Like I've just turned this idea about something I was interested in into all this money. Like for me, when I actually started to make money online, I was firstly blown away that you actually could sit at a laptop in your bedroom. Like I started my first business at university, so I was in like this crappy little student accommodation building this business from my bedroom, and I was just blown away by the fact that you could actually just make money sat at home. Like this is bizarre. And then like with FEA, I remember when like building that up and like getting to these points where we do like launches and it would generate so much money, or having your first like when you have like a month, I remember, what is it, like $1 million a year is like 83,500, something like that. Like I feel like so many of us have worked that out. I mean, I remember working it out and being like, what would it be? I remember when I got to that point, I was like, this is insane. Like I have taken an idea completely in my head and turned it by myself into this reality just by showing up and sharing and being consistent and caring about the people that I'm trying to help and serve. And, you know, I do really think that, like, as entrepreneurs, I made a video actually recently because in 2008, I made this challenge called Mission to Make a Million. I think I got to like day 66 and gave up. Did not make a million, and it was like mission to make a million in 365 days. And I in 2011 created a new mission for myself, and that was my Mission Success Challenge. And I realized that, like, if you make it all about yourself, like, you're never going to make a million, because being an entrepreneur, I think, is about it's about showing up and being of service, of value to other people. And the more we show up and be of service, the more we can generate. And if we can just allow ourselves to get out of our own way, really tune into who we are and align with that, like, real, that voice inside of us, and just allow ourselves to experiment and just play around and not have it all figured out and just test and try and do it. It is incredible what we can all make happen, and the opportunities available to every single one of us. Like, it just blows me away. Like, it never fails to just inspire me. And I don't know about you, but I just want everyone to know what's possible for them, like what they can make happen.
Yeah, I'm the same. I always say I'm a walking billboard for good. You know, like, if there's something that works for me, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops and let everyone know. And I always say, like, my little secret is I'm actually not passionate about green smoothies. I love drinking them. I love getting my family to drink kale and spinach, but that's not like my lifelong mission or passion or anything like that. But what my passion is helping other people. And so it's like, if you want to make $1 million, help someone first. Like, we have to start from that place of what you were saying. And once we did that $86,000 launch in 10 days, I was like, my new billboard, it was green smoothies, but now it's how people could generate income doing something that they that has made a difference in their lives to help more people, and to be able to have the freedom and the flexibility to be at home. Because I had my daughter and I was working, I was making $15 an hour as a part-time VA and at a yoga studio, and changing other kids' diapers and all of these things. I had these side jobs to help kind of just get me by day. But the big thing is I had a bigger vision, like there was something bigger than me. So I love that you said that about, like, it can't just be about you. We have to really be thinking about other people, and even pulling other people into your vision. So even just having number goals for my business partner, I didn't feel so selfish, right? Like, I was like, I want to make $15,000 a month, and I also want my business partner to make $15,000 a month. I would ask my husband, like, what would be your ideal day and your dream week? Like, how would you be spending your time? Like, those conversations really fueled me of, like, I want my husband to be able to have that type of freedom or that space, or to start his own business. And, like, now he has his own music program. And so, to me, I'm driven by vision, and I'm sure for you too, right? Like, that we're visionaries, and we have to plant that vision of what you want for your life, and also what you want for the world. So I think that's something also part of leading with love and building a community is also, like, what's the vision? Like, really allow yourself to imagine what you want for your life, what you want for the community that you serve, and what's the impact that you want to make in the world. And I write my visions down, and I have, I do vision boards every couple years. Those things, just like little anchors that allow us to remind ourselves of what really matters and what we're stepping into. And when I read my visions and I go back, I'm like, oh my goodness, I accomplished so many of those things, and I wasn't even thinking about it, or it wasn't even a written goal.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, how that works? I'm the same way. I write goals everywhere, and vision boards and jars. I've got like loads of jars even on my desk with like loads of stuff in. And it's just so powerful, isn't it? Like, what, when you start to get clear on the things that you want, how it can come to, I suppose, manifest in your life. It's just also fascinating. One other thing I wanted to ask before we wrap up is, obviously when you did your first challenge, presumably you've never done a challenge before and you had no idea like really how to make it work or what you were doing, but you just went for it anyway. Because I think so many people are like, but how do I do it? But how do I do it? And I sometimes just want to say, just if you feel something inside of yourself, an idea, a spark of something, just go for it, because you don't have to have it perfectly planned out. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have it figured out. Just create, have fun creating and go for it. Like, is that what you did? Just
Yeah. So yeah, we had no idea what we were doing. We were making it up as we went. And every email that we sent and every recipe shopping list, we were creating the night before we were supposed to send it on Thursday. So we were just kind of making stuff up as we were going. We didn't have a product to sell after, anything like that. We were just kind of following this idea and just putting it out there to help more people. And, after our first challenge, we ended up doing, I think, $8,000 in 7 days, selling, just repackaging our challenge as like recipe cards. I'm like, hey, you get this. And we're like, maybe you'll buy it for $5. Maybe they won't. And they did. They bought it. And that gave us so much momentum and confidence. And then we reinvested that money. We paid ourselves back for all the money that we spent where we were negative in building our parenting blog. And then the rest of that revenue, we invested in an online course, and we invested in hiring our first part-time person to help us do the no comment left behind, because responding to 30,000 challenge participants is a lot. And I will say, like, the simple pieces of a challenge, really thinking about what's like one small easy win that you could teach your community, that where they would feel confident and not give them a fire hose of information that's going to feel overwhelming, like something that they can actually accomplish in a short amount of time that's going to give them the confidence to want to take the next deeper step with you in that transformation. I'd say, like, that's the number one thing you want to be thinking about, of what is that spark moment that's going to get them to want to take that next step with you. And literally, it was only 9 emails was all that was included in the challenge. And I actually have a free roadmap if anyone wants access to it, at buildyourchallenge.com. That will give you a free PDF checklist of how the whole challenge system works. Because it's really, I'm simple green smoothies to like simple marketing. Like, I just love business being really simple. And we don't have to overcomplicate this at all. Like, it can be so simple and also so fun and energizing. Like, business doesn't have to be so serious that we deplete ourselves and we're exhausted and we're uninspired. Like, do something that inspires you and also helps people at the same time, and your work will feel like play and people will feel so cared for and loved by you.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Oh, I could literally sit here and talk about this all day long with you. I love this topic. And I think for me, like, everything you said, I agree with. And I think it's just all about, business is about creating an experience for someone, and it's emotional. It's like, it's an exchange of emotions when you buy like that transaction. It's so much more than just a monetary transaction. It's loaded with different emotions. Like, for example, even with our physical products and with Carrie and Co, like the planners that we sell and the notebooks and the pens, like, it's a physical experience we create for someone. And like, I don't know, it's fun. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about, creating these experiences. And, exactly like what you said, it's simple as no comment left. I can't remember how you say this. No comment left.
Behind.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Like, I was like, replied to? But no, that's not right. But yeah, it's just something as simple as that makes such a big difference. But yeah, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of that with us. It's very inspiring, and I'm sure lots of people will be signing up to download your free PDF on how to actually create their own challenges, because they are still such a powerful strategy for growth and building a community. Do you have any lasting tips on for anyone about business, marketing, community building that you want to share?
Yeah, I would say just something that I always say to my clients is don't put a timeline on your dreams, put a timeline on your action. So just like when you said, you had your mission challenge of like $1 million in 365 days and you didn't achieve it, right? That we can sometimes quit there, right? When we set that type of goal post for us. And for me, that persistence and that commitment is like, oh, just move the goal post. Cause I thought I would do 6 figures in 6 months. I didn't. My husband, my daughter, and I had to move out of our apartment because they increased the rent. We couldn't afford it. So we were able to achieve the 6 figures in like 18 months. So don't put a timeline on your dreams. Just put timeline on your actions of like, okay, this is the behavior, or this is the commitment, or this is the project or the marketing initiative that I'm going to put out there that I believe will get me closer to my goal. But we put so much pressure on every action that we take. And if it's not successful in our eyes, or we don't hit the number, then we think like, we're applying how we think in school, right? With like the grades of like, I got an F and so I suck and I'm just going to stop and I'm going to give up. And so don't be the person that gives up. Like go back and like retake the test and try something different, right? Like to just keep recommitting and showing up, I think is so important. So don't put a timeline on your dreams. Allow your dreams to be like a lifelong mission, not a 365-day or a 3-year mission or anything like that. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself, and then you're going to be able to build a sustainable, profitable, meaningful business because you're going to fill some more space around how you pursue, and you can put some urgency around your actions because that's something that you can control, but you actually can't control the outcome. But being committed to that outcome, that's like, it's so fun. It's just like, I don't know, I love board games. And so it feels like this lifelong board game that I'm trying to win. And if I don't win the next round, that's totally cool. I'm just going to keep learning and try a different strategy as I go.
I love it. It's like a game, isn't it? Literally.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So thank you for that last tip. It was a powerful note to end on. But thank you so much. Where is the best place for people to go and find out more about you and follow you and get all of your goodness?
Yeah, definitely JadahSellner.com. I'm at Jadah Sellner on the Instagram dance floor. And I also have a podcast called Lead with Love.
Yes, everyone should go and check that out. Definitely. I will leave all of those links in the show notes. So if you want to head over to femaleentrepreneurassociation.com/Jadah, JADAH, then that all the goodness will be in there. But thank you so much. You've been amazing. And I've just absolutely loved having this chat with you. It's been so inspiring. And I'm gonna be going off now to figure out how we can start to put like gifts and nice pricing and budget together for our community, because that's such a nice thing to do.
Yes. Thank you, Carrie.
I hope you have all loved listening to this episode, and I'll be back next week with another episode of the She Means Business Show. So hopefully I will see you then. Bye. I hope you loved this week's episode of the She Means Business Show. If you want more help and support to build a wildly successful business, then join hundreds of thousands of women and become an FEA insider. You'll get access to some of our amazing freebies, to our bonuses, to our giveaways, to so much good stuff. Head over to femaleentrepreneurassociation.com/insider to get all of the goodness. And I will see you next week for another episode of the She Means Business Show.